Well, welcome everyone. Those of you who are joining us in Chicago, and the many joining us virtually for the closing ceremony and annual business meeting of the American Educational Research Association. This event tends to happen in the middle of the day, although the meeting continues. And for those who have been with us long term, you might remember the 8 a.m. Business meeting and closing ceremony. So we have lightened up and scheduled it in the middle of the day. And it's really a pleasure as your executive director. I am Felice Levine. If I don't know each of you individually, I look forward to doing so in the weeks, months, and years ahead. So this is in part, of course, a celebration, an opportunity to reflect on the year and on all that has been accomplished and to cheer us on as we look ahead. We want to thank everyone, every presenter. This kind of event all year long. We have many presenters, many people with dedicated service, every person involved in programming for this annual meeting, from the planning of every unit, the SIGs, the divisions, the presidential-wide programs, volunteers right and left. Everything that you have done has brought us to this point this year. And it's just a big thank you. Round of collective applause to you and all of you who aren't in this room and are still actively engaged in planning committee meetings and other sessions throughout the day. It's one of my traditional responsibilities or opportunities, even though it may not be down to the final count, because the final count, of course, we verify all the data. But the numbers for the 2023 annual meeting in Chicago, as of, about an hour ago, 14,011 persons. Let's hear it for Chicago. And an additional, and that will continue to happen as we move toward the virtual component of the annual meeting, but those who have already registered and are participants, many of whom are participants in the virtual meeting, another 1,568 for a total registration as of this moment, 15,579. And as I actually said last year about San Diego, this is really at the top of what would have been a traditional Chicago meeting. So it's just a collective effort of one of which we can be collectively proud. At the place-based meeting, meaning here in Chicago at this component of the meeting, we have 1,654 registrants from outside of the United States, from 77 countries, and one can only assume that will reproduce itself, of course, in the virtual component of the meeting, particularly with attendees potentially from outside the United States. We have done a salute to our outgoing editors at the publications reception, but I want to take this opportunity to thank, on behalf of the association, the outgoing editors from the Educational Evaluation and Policy Analysis Journal, warmly called EPA, for 2019, 2022. If you are here, please stand up. Joseph Cyprian, Paco Martorell, and Julie Marsh. So a round of applause for a great job, well done, in building upon, expanding the legacy. I'm sure many of you are EPA readers. And one of the nice parts about what we did starting this year was that we made all journals available to all members. So you no longer needed to narrowly select, but you could widely read. I think very in keeping, actually, with President Milner's theme. Outgoing council members and many others who've served, but I want to acknowledge our outgoing council members. I would like to thank Bradley McMillan. Well, we, on behalf of the ARA, we would like to thank Bradley McMillan, Vice President of Division H, and I should have not said this by alphabet soup, but I will. Research Evaluation and Assessment in Schools, Jerome Morris, Vice President of Division G, Social Context in Education, Isabel Nunez, Vice President of Division B, Curriculum Studies, Katrina Sanders, Vice President of Division F, History and Historiography, Andy Layton, Graduate Student Council Chair, who also served on council, Diana Hess, an at-large member of council, and Teresa McCarty, council member at large. Diana also served on the executive board. So really it's service has very special dimensions, but of course you have to volunteer to run and then give it you all. And all of those individuals gave it their all. This is there's always a bittersweet quality to this because we don't really want to move and let go of those near in our hearts. So most of you who look at the program over the years, look at committees, look at all of the ways in which we engage in activity, recognize that actually our leaders continue in many ways. Sometimes not so visibly, but doing important work because we need to tiptoe the next generation. As an association, we are so committed to doing. But I think no one has brought that kind of spirit more to us in so many different ways. It was just palpable in the theme of this meeting, the success of this meeting, the introduction by his co-chairs captured the spirit of Rich. So I'm kind of ambivalent about moving and giving you this this gift on behalf of the association, but I think you should
Should I open it now?
open it
Okay.
and recognize that even though it's attached, you can rip it off and do a bag, right? Now you'll introduce the levity of you got the gavel and you can't even pull it off the wall. You're right.
All right. Thank you all for being
Just
here.
in case you get
Just in
hurt,
case, I need to. Right. Yeah.
you can just
I want to begin by thanking you all for being here at this annual meeting here in Chicago. And let's give yourselves a round of applause if you don't mind. Please, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you sent a note, if you were involved in our work of planning and moving forward with the meeting, I'm very much appreciative to you. And please know that I can't tell you personally, I mean it sincerely. I am honored to be your president. In the language of Felice Levine, she says, I am your executive director and I am indeed your president and honored to serve in this capacity. With that in mind, I want to take this opportunity to thank Felice and Felice's team. If you're here, Mr. Robert, Mr. Tony, Nathan, Lori, Mary, Autumn, Kendra, please stand so that we might recognize you. Please stand. Wave your hand so that we can see you. Joyce, Phoebe, I see you. I see you. Yeah. Let's give it up. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. I'm just tell you. I just want to be clear here that these people work around the clock. It seems like if I email at 11, I say if I email at 11:21 p.m., I get a response at 11:22, and I'm thinking, wow, when do you all sleep? Right? But I just want to say how appreciative I am to each of you for all of the work you do. I also want to take this opportunity to thank. I call her my right hand, Naila Nasir. Let's give it up for Naila. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Yeah. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. I have read Naila's work, prior to my coming in, but we were not friends. But I can say for sure that Naila is a fierce scholar in this work, and she is dearly I can say this sincerely. It's my dear friend. I thank you for all the text messages, for all of the encouragement, for answering all of my simple, silly questions along the way. I'm so grateful to you for being who you are in this work and for being my true friend moving forward. And so let's give it up again for Nair.
That's right. I love you and nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it. That's right. I also want to take this opportunity to thank, and I'm going to do a formal presentation to the three program chairs, the three program co-chairs that I see Troy sitting in the audience and the others for helping to onboard them in terms of the work that they will do. But I want to be very clear that we have some high school students who are on our campus, who are at our meeting this past meeting, and I can say for sure I was able to go by and spend some time with them. Dr. Lori Diane Hill will probably attest to the fact that I thought I was going to be there for a few minutes and just, I was like, I opened it up with some Q&A. I had my written, comments. I gave my comments. I opened it up for some Q&A, and 35 minutes later, we were still going strong. I said I should probably go to the fellows dinner so that Felice would not be too mad at me. But I made it, and I will say that we had a really, really great, we have a really great group of high school students who are working with the week. We received 80 plus applications, and I will say that Mark Gooden and Lori Delaney O'Connor were the people who really worked tirelessly to pull together the application. So let's give it up for Dr. Hill, Dr. Gooden, and Dr. Delaney O'Connor for all of your hard work in making sure that our high school students are here. We had 3. We chose a total of 16. Dr. Howard has already agreed to continue the work moving forward. So this is not the last year you will see high school students here as we do our annual meeting. So kudos to you. And you've heard it here in the business meeting. So if you don't see it, go up to them and be like, hey, we thought that the high school students would be, we received 3. We received 80 plus applications, but 3 are from the U.S. Actually participated. 2 from Canada, as well as 1 team from Spain are here with us. So if you have not had an opportunity to spend some time down there, please do. I also want to, just in my preparation and my decision to run for president, I talked to Vanessa Siddle Walker, and she talked about the importance of the exec committee and the council for the president. And I can say for sure, without any reservation, that I had the best exec committee and the best council that I could have asked for. So I thank you. Please stand so that we might recognize you if you are on the exec committee as well as the council. Please stand so that we might recognize you. I see Katrina in the audience. I guess they were like, you ain't gonna be. But I just want to say how appreciative I am. Everything I brought forward, I just, they asked really important questions and they advanced and moved the work forward. If you are a new member of the association, I want to salute you. You don't have to stand. You might just wave your hand. We had our new member orientation with standing room only, and it was. I can tell you that my heart was full. My heart was full. So thank you and welcome to your new home here at the American Education Research Association. I also want to thank Ebony McGee. I'll do this again shortly, but it was her brainchild to bring the Black and Brown Business Festival to the American Education Research Association. They give it up for Ebony. Right. Yep. I also want to thank Kendra. If it had not been for Kendra worked tirelessly to make sure the Black and Brown business. Where is Kendra? Is Kendra here in the? Let's give it up for Kendra. Let's in her absence. So y'all are still just sitting there. I would like for you to please clap for Kendra. I just really want to say how appreciative I am for all of your hard work and pulling together the Black and Brown Business Festival. And again, Tyrone Howard has said that he will continue that moving forward. So if you don't see that, ask him. I have there's not a lot of executive privilege you get as a president to be able to do things without the executive committee and council, which is the way it should be, and without consulting with the executive director. But I was able to make 2 appointments as lecturers as president, and that was probably the most proud I've been as president. As soon as police gave me the green light that I could move forward with inviting the Wallace lecturer and the distinguished lecturer, I reached out to Anika Ball, who will give the lecture later, so stay tuned. We will communicate about that lecture. And I reached out to none other than my mentor, my friend, Linda Tillman, and she's in the audience, and I'm going to ask for Dr. Tillman to please, she's going to get mad at me, but please stand. She's standing, okay, all right. Thank you. Let's give it up for Dr. Tillman. She gave the Wallace lecture. When I say she gave the Wallace lecture, she gave the Wallace lecture, right? I want to say thank you. Standing room only. Very much indebted to you. I want to also thank you for attending my presidential talk, and then put on your calendar October 26th. It will be announced, but the Brown lecture will take place on October 26th. We will also move forward. I'll let Tyrone, he will share the good news about the lateral learning and the learning that we will do moving forward. But I want to say thank you for indulging and participating in Cornel West. Let's give it up for Cornel. He showed up and he sold out, in my opinion. And I can say for sure that Cornel was grateful. He everything he asked him to do, he was there early. I think he beat me to the banquet room, and I'm just so grateful to each one of them. Finally, before I passed the mantle to my brother, I want to say that I'm grateful to my Vanderbilt colleagues, to my dean, Camilla Bimbo, and in her absence. There's no way I could have gone through this presidency without her support. I'm on sabbatical next year. I'm looking forward to that. Yes. You may clap for it if you want to, because I'm going to be clapping. I can say I'm looking forward to that time away. If I don't respond to your email, it's not that I'm being mean, but I'm going to take care of me during that time. I'm going forward, and I'm going to pour into my family. What I can say for sure is that I am most proud of being Shelly's husband, being Anna and Elisa's dad, and being Henry and Barbara's son. I will be that to the day I leave this earth. And so I just want to say that I appreciate you and I value you. I want to say also Ira Murray, who had to catch a plane, he has already transitioned back to Nashville, but there's no way I could have done this without Ira. If you like the slides at the presidential session, it was because of Laura Fitz, who was my doctoral student. Harold Murray was my master student at Vanderbilt. I recruited him to University of Pittsburgh, where he got his PhD. He went off and did great things, and now I was able to recruit him back. That's right, I'm telling my whole life story. I was able to recruit him to the university, back to Vanderbilt University. Ira is a dear friend of mine, Brian Best. As well, I'll see Brian. Ashley Best is our program manager. And Dina Lane Blood, I see Dina, Dr. Dina, as we'll quickly call her. She's sitting in the audience, so I'm going to ask you to please stand. Give it up for Dina. I want to say how grateful I am to you. And so I have gotten my nudge to move on, but I want to say it has been nothing short of my pleasure to serve as your president. I have done my best. Hopefully, what I have done has sufficed. But I know the best is yet to come. So I'll be bringing forward the past president, Aida Nasir. Thank you. President, that's excellent.
I don't have a lot to say, but I do want to just add my thanks to the chorus, to the AERE staff for all the work that goes invisible. I used to say when I was vice chancellor, it was a little terrifying. You all have no idea how much work and labor and resource it takes just to keep things the same. I think that is also true here, just to keep the trains running and the meeting happening in the rooms and the organization and the web streaming and there's no end to the depth of work that all of this requires. So you see an ARA staff member, stop and thank them. I also always, Felice's boundless energy. I told some people, I tried to hang with Felice last year. I could not do it. I was like, I gotta go to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. So just for continued fearless and visionary leadership of the organization, and to reiterate, Rich, how important exec board and council and having honest decisions, people who are representing the membership. Rich, it was an amazing meeting. And the team, I know we're going to recognize the team in a moment, but I want to publicly say how much I enjoyed this meeting. And the presidential talk gave us so much to think about around the future of our field. I would not like to have a test on the difference between consequentialism and consequentiality, however, but I'm still pondering. A lot. The written version is going to
give me the cliff notes.
Get me there. I also want to just say thank you to the team of us.
Yes.
Some of you know that the past president, the current president, and the president-elect form somewhat of a body. There is a text chain that is very frequently used. And this group just really appreciate the partnership, the colleagueship, the collective thinking, the grace. So, at times we had, again, some tough conversations, tough decisions, and we were always able to kind of come to a consensus, even if that meant one of us was like, well, if that's what y'all want to do. But really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And in that spirit, my predecessor, Sean Harper.
That's right. That's right.
I cannot underscore the level of grace, kindness, and forethought that Sean provided, both in my year and in my past president. Up to a few days ago, you need to anticipate that. So really, really appreciate that. The pandemic cheated many of us of many things we deserve, but Sean, the pandemic cheated you of a real presidential year, and you handled it with a level of grace that is really, really admirable. So big round of applause.
Big up.
And Janelle Scott, very best wishes to you as you begin this journey. Janelle and I first met because we were neighbors at the UCLA student housing. And she introduced me to him. So, do you remember this? And we used to alternate days of cooking because we were both, I was relatively well, we both and didn't have that many people to cook for. I'll say it that way. So this is an amazing journey, and you're going to have so much fun. And I know your vision is going to be just fabulous for the organization on so many levels. For the rest of you, I encourage you to stay and get involved in ARA service. This is a peer-led, peer-run organization. Edit a journal, serve on a committee. So many opportunities to get engaged. It's much more fun when you're working alongside folks to make all of these pieces of our field move forward. And with that, I'm going to stop talking and turn it over back to Rich.
Yes. No.
That's all right. And so now I have the distinct pleasure of I'm going to do this alphabetize them and ask for Lori DeLayley to please come forward. Let's give it up for Lori. Lori was my first when I moved to the University of Pittsburgh. It was my first real college, and I want to say thank you for accepting the challenge of being coach here of our annual meeting. the American Education Research Association. I'll thank you for being my friend. I thank you for being the scholar you are and the person you are. Glory to Lady O'Connor.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what comes next. Good, Mark. Good. Says how tired I am. Let's give it up for Mark. Let's give it up for Mark. There's no way I could, even if I tried to dress as well as Mark. He's always sharp. Well, Mark was is my brother, and he was my best friend at The Ohio State University when we were doing our doctoral work there at The Ohio State University. Thanks for answering the call whenever I call. So that we can help the next generation and new people doing this work. And so I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for accepting the call to be program chair. And then you're going to Research Association. All right, and last but not least, Ebony McGill. Give it up for Ebony. Ebony. As Ebony is coming, Ebony is my closest colleague in the academy. I want to say how grateful I am to you for all you've done, all you will continue to do. It's not goodbye. It is see you later. And I just want to say how grateful I am to you. I'm proud of you. And the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Thank you for accepting the call to be program co-chair of the American Education Research. So, yeah. Yeah. Let's give it up again for all three co-chairs. Y'all stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Yes, a lot of work. A lot of work. Great. Oh, yeah. And it is nothing short of my pleasure. I could not be more pleased. Janelle, I'm happy to see you and looking forward to working with you. I see Sean, but it is nothing short. My pleasure. When I started my graduate work at The Ohio State University, we always say he's my brother from another mother, and he's my brother. And I can tell you for sure that I would not be able to stand here as president of the American Education Research Association without this person. I can say for sure that he is a man of integrity. He is my brother. He's a fierce leader. I love him like he's my brother. I would do anything I can for him. I'll say that publicly. That's right, I said it. He is just a good human being, and I am just honored to be able to pass the gavel to him when he reached out to me and said, I'm thinking about what I was like, you should, right? I want you to experience what I've experienced. But I can say for sure that you have, the hand, you're in the organization was in great hands. He will announce his co-chairs. He has so much great stuff in store, and I'm looking forward to following him, supporting, and being half the person that Naila has been to me. And so I would like for you to please stand and welcome to the stage and welcome to the podium. Welcome to the dais, Professor Tyrone Howard. Professor Tyrone Howard.
Love you, brother. That'd be great, man.
And use this as much as you can.
I'm gonna hold it. Get the picture. Okay.
Look like you congratulate.
Yeah.
I don't know what you got me up here for, but you make this like this is a torture, bro. It's not that bad.
It was great.
Yeah, no, I'm beyond humbled and honored to take this gavel and lead this organization. I can't tell you how much you never can imagine certain things will become your reality. I'm thinking about a number of people right now, but I want to give a couple of stories and hope police won't pick me off.
Right it off.
I got the gavel now. So,
Right, exactly. You're my boss.
yeah, okay. Y'all heard that, right? Okay. First and foremost, I want to just thank the AERA staff. I'm going to get to my story in a second. First, another round of applause for the AERA staff. We just have to show the love that they deserve for putting this on. Folks have no idea how much work and time. I happened to be in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and I stopped by the AERA headquarters, and it was a crazy, madhouse with folks packing boxes and moving things, and it's a relatively small staff, but they do an amazing job to put on this event. So, as Richard mentioned, please give those folks a shout out when you see them. Tell them thank you for what they do. I also want to give a shout out, if you can. I know we're all going to be running to catch flights, and some of us, if you can, the staff here at this hotel and the other hotels, can you shout them out? When you see them, can you let them know thank you for their service? They were professional, they were helpful, and if you tried to enter anywhere without a badge, you put your life in harm's way. They were about that life, right? So I just want to make sure that we shout out the folks who don't get nearly the amount of compensation that they deserve, but they were on their job. So please let them know that you just appreciate them and thank them for what they did, because they were phenomenal. I need to take them with me wherever I go, because they're about that business. So I want to shout them out. I can't say thank you enough to Felice Levine and her leadership. Felice does a lot behind the scenes work that most folks don't recognize. And so thank you. I look forward to working with you, Felice, over the next year plus. Shout out to my I call her my first AERA friend. Well, one of my first AERA. Look, I tell the story that back in 1996, the first year I attended AERA, my dear advisor, Jim Banks, who I would not be up here were it not for Jim, because Jim was president shortly thereafter, right? Jim Banks told me, you need to go to AERA. I had no idea what the AERA was, what you do, why you go. I just know he said you need to be there, and I'm grateful for that. So I get to AERA in New York City, and there's I was told it was a small meeting. Little did I know you would see thousands of people all around. When I first got to the hotel, I ran into 3 people. One was Trifenia, the other was Jerome Morris, and it was not even a seer. And they called me over because they must have seen me looking lost and kind of needing some friends. And they embraced me, and I've been friends with them ever since. And I can't say thank you enough to Naila for your leadership and your friendship and for the person you are. So thank you for being the example of just grace personified in your role as leader president. So can we give her a round of applause, please? Thank you so much. And then my brother from another mother, when I'm still kind of lost as an assistant professor at Ohio State, my first year there, I'm petrified, I'm insecure, I don't know if I know how to do this job. I have teaching the class in Ramsire Hall. Where my Ohio State folks at? They know where Ramsire Hall is, right? And there's this young brother who comes early to class. Class starts at 1. He there at 12:30, like sitting in the front of the class, introduces himself. And not only does he sit in the front of the class, as I'm starting the class, he got questions throughout the entire time of the class, right? I'm like, man, this brother he's here early, he got a lot of questions. And then after class is over, I'm like, okay, he'll finally leave, right? He stays after class and still asking questions, right? Next week, same thing, half an hour before class, this young brother's there in class. And it was none other than Rich Milton. In my first quarter at Ohio State, in my first class, he was in my class. And I took a liking to him, he took a liking to me. I knew right then and there that there was something different about this brother. I knew he was special. I knew he was destined for greatness because he had such a big heart. Anybody who knows Rich knows he'll give you the shirt off his back. He will give you his last. I was honored to be the best man in his wedding. I tell him all the time, he's my brother from another mother. I tell him all the time, I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. So you got to just accept it. But you have been an excellent president. You set the bar quite high. So let's show him one final round of applause before he transitions out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One last story. This is still surreal to me, this whole situation of being up here, because about 4 years ago, one of my other brothers from another mother, Sean Harper, I'm gonna say Sean Harper, invited me to his house for dinner. If you know Sean is always scheming and plotting and thinking and trying to put things together. And so we're having dinner. He said, I have an idea. Sean has never had lost for ideas. If I get this wrong, you can tell me. He said, I think you should run for AERA president. I'm like, come on, Sean. I think next idea, right? This is not gonna happen, right? And so he kindly, in his own Sean Harper way, begins to explain, like, here's why you should do it, and here's how we'll support you, and this is what it would look like. I said, Sean, I got too much on my plate, and I can't do it right now. He said, well, I just want you to think about it. I said, okay. But I knew the answer was no. About a week later, Sean called me and said, hey, have you thought about it? I said, look, man, I told you the answer is no. Time goes by. Sean, if you know him, is relentless with love, right? Relentless with love, right? Hey, man, have you thought about what I said to you anymore? I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, right? And so he said, you'd be excellent. He has a way of just kind of like, Sean's like your hype man, your Flavor Flav, right? Everybody needs a Flavor Flav, right? Like, I would be in your corner, I'd have your back, you should do it. And like, you start hearing enough, you're like, yeah, I can do this, right? I can do this, right? But brother, I can't say, again, you have been a tremendous support to me. I would not be up here now without you doing this, because you served as an example of leadership. And you have been my biggest encourager in me doing this, and I can't say thank you. So let's show our love, please, for Sean Harper. I would not be here without you, but I can't say thank you enough, okay? All right, I got to shout out one more person, because again, these things I never thought would be possible. I grew up in Compton, California. Folks from Compton don't do this kind of stuff, right? Part of what I hope to do is like sort of challenge stereotypes about who can do what, right? Education, was always prioritized in my household. I'm the oldest of two. I have a younger brother. But there's somebody here who has oftentimes, in many ways, and I know he won't like this, served as my big brother. He would take me and my brother to school many a days. He served as an example of what education and hard work looks like. He would talk about college. He would take us around, me and my brother, as when he was on the track team at Long Beach State. He just always exemplified integrity and excellence in all that he did. I gotta shout my big brother, cousin, Chief Howard. Please stand up. I gotta say thank you. Please stand up. Please stand up. Show this brother some love, because he's another person. I would not be here without him as an example of work ethic, of visiting, and everything else. I just had to shout you out, man. I love you, brother. You were more than an example for me in ways I could never say. So, and I could go on and on and on, but Felice is getting kind of jittery here saying, okay. I got the floor, and y'all heard her say that I was what? Her boss. Okay, I mean, that's gonna be my theme. Right? I'm the boss. So anyway, I digress. Like I said, I'm excited, honored, humbled to serve this important organization. My goal is to pick up on the words of what Richard Miller told us in his excellent presidential address, is to challenge us to be better, challenge us to be better, and challenge us to do better. He said it over again, we must do better. We have to do better. I think we can do better. And he set a high bar for us. And so I think it's our goal to be more inclusive, to be more community-centered, and to be willing to take on some of the most vexing and challenging issues that we see in education. So in that end, the theme for our 2024 conference will be dismantling racial injustice across P20 systems. We will talk race. We will engage in race. It will be uncomfortable for some, but it's necessary for many. I am seeking for AERA to lead and to engage in a global conversation to begin to address issues around race, racism, and other systems of oppression. As I've had these conversations with folks about what we're doing, folks have said, well, I don't know if you should, I don't think we can. And my thing is, that's why we have to do it. The more discomfort folks have, that means we need to lean into this discomfort. I think that people have said, well, what does racism have to do with measurement? Well, if you ask them that question, that's why we need to do this. Folks have said, well, what does race have to do with the history of higher education? That's why we need to do this. If it makes you uncomfortable, then that's mission accomplished. We have to have this conversation. There are too many things happening globally as it pertains to race and racism and systems of oppression. And if we ignore this, then I would say shame on us. So that will be our theme. I am so honored to be able to have my co-chairs, Linda Tillman. Linda, please stand up. Again, one of my ride or dies for almost 30 years, Rima Reynolds Vassar, my co-chair. My ride or die, and Javon Hunter. Javon here, Javon here. They are fearless, they are visionaries, they are tireless workers, and so I'm excited about the work and support that they will be helping us to do for the next year. I didn't tell them what the work entailed. I just said, can you do me a solid? They all agreed, and so the rest will take care of itself. So again, part of what I want to see us do over the course of the next year as we prepare for Philadelphia in 2024 is to think about race and racism in the global context. Race and racism is not something that's unique to the United States. It's a global issue that needs our focus, time, and attention. I also want us to interrogate issues of race and racism as it intersects with other identity, gender identity, sexual orientation, social class, immigration status. We cannot look at race all by itself, but we have to look at the ways in which, as Kimberly Crenshaw tells us, it intersects with multiple forms of identity. We have to have this conversation, folks. I also want us and plan to have us engage further and more explicitly with HBCUs in the organization. We have to do better with our HBCUs. We also want to engage with our Hispanic serving institution. We have to be better there. And we also plan to engage with our Native serving institutions, right? We have to make sure that AERA is seen as a place for a much more diverse population of researchers, thinkers, scholars, and doers. We also plan to uplift the voices of young people. I'll say this again, young people. Rich talked about the research teams that were here, and if you had time to hear them, they were phenomenal. I also did the same thing. When Lori invited me yesterday, my plan was to talk to those young people for about 10 minutes. I left out about an hour and a half later. They were phenomenal. And so what I would like to see is not only for us to continue that work with young people, but since I'm the boss, I think I'd like to see us expand that work, right? You remember Felice, right? We're going to expand the youth program. See that, right? I'm getting all this recorded right now. I want all this recorded so I can have it all on record, right? But nonetheless, I want us to engage in having young people, their voices and perspectives be a part of what we do. And Rima and I in the program chair were having a conversation this morning that I think is important, but not just having young people here to be seen as others, but for us to truly listen to what young people say, to learn from what young people experience, and to be able to be transformed by the ways that they envision how education systems can work. I would like to see us be out in school visiting young people in the places that they have to occupy every single day, but not in a voyeurist type of way, right? But in a way that is deeply rooted in our learning from them, something we need to do more of. So that's it. I got a lot I'm doing here, don't I, y'all? So we got a lot of things we want to do. And I also want to make sure that we are engaging in ongoing evidence-based, data-driven ways of how we understand how various systems of oppression continue to deny people opportunity to be self-fulfilled. So I am excited beyond measure. I am ready. I'm excited. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate so many folks in this room who would come up to me and said, I'm willing to support, I want to help, I want to volunteer, sign me up. Just be careful what you ask for, right? That's what I'm going to ask you, right? Because I truly believe in the whole embodiment of the village. This organization is better when we are all collectively involved. And I can't say that, that we can't be better if we don't all collectively dedicate ourselves to this work. I got to shout out Cynthia Tyson. That's my sister from another Mr. Cynthia. Somebody back in the day who was just, I didn't know if this professor thing was going to work out. I had all my doubts. You the one who held me down. You would say, don't be afraid to talk about the things that you care deeply about. Don't be afraid to take on the issues that are most near and dear to your heart. And that's why we will engage in this work. So I am ready. I'm excited. Look, folks, let's do this. We got a lot of work to do. We got folks who are expecting this work to be as relevant and responsive and as transformative as possible. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your investment and your faith in me.
You can take both with you.
Right.
Hello. So I'm reluctant to ask for items of new business since we may have to introduce the 2-year presidency with the permission of my boss here. um, uh, Obviously, we can't turn to new issues or topics in any detail, but if there are any items of business that you want us to chew on over the year to come, council has the next first meeting of the 2023-2024 council is in June. We can entertain anybody. Of course, the best way is, if anyone had something, I think we have a stand-up mic, we would entertain it at this time. But we're really, despite the size of our membership, I think what you've seen here and what you've all participated in is how flexible and collaborative and porous we are. You don't need to have a network pathway to me or to our staff or to the ARA leadership. We've created this kind of foursome, threesome of collaboration just so that we're hearing all of the ways in which we could do better. And we can't do better without your engagement and input. So even though an official business meeting calls for new topics and new business, it's a ongoing activity, from crowdsourcing in a variety of ways to our committee structures, our SIGs, our divisions, and to feel that while nothing earth-shaking may have been raised here, that we hear you in every way possible. So I transition a bit, but I needed that official part of the program. John, before you totally duck out, there was a tradition. We did have the Vanessa year and the Sean Harper year were tough time, just as they were for all of us in various ways, and for the leadership of ARA and universities and research institutes, K-12 systems. COVID, which has not quite left us, was really pernicious when we needed to fall off the annual meeting in March of 2020. And in March of 2020, and continuing as a metaphor for Sean and for me as his collaborator, we introduced, not to say that the only way to joy is through champagne, but we introduced the champagne toast. So, Sean, could you join me for a minute?
Come on.
It's okay. And your successor president.
Mm-hmm.
All of us.
Oh, let me see.
To the presidents, Vanessa, who I wish were with us to do this because she missed this experience, though we did it virtually, to really all of you. You and what you do with your students, with your own commitments and activities, you make that happen. And we value that as much as I value each of you. And Janelle.
Go.
Come on, stand up to this. Stand up. To you too, Janelle. We've had an opportunity to work in many ways before.
Right.
Division, DPL, I know. I've got my initials down. To all of you, congratulations, and same time next year.
Really? Yeah.